Um, welcome to Wolves After Dark. I'm your host, Ashwin, with our special guest, Stat Queen herself, Sabrina. Welcome. Uh, I say, what a game. It was, um, what a missed opportunity. To make some noise in the West, the second team in the West just like breathing down our necks. Are we a real team? Are we a fake team? Are we playoff ready? Are we able to face the top of the West? There was a Boston game that happened a week ago or so, and we had a really good effort. Missing Conley, missing Gobert. However, the closing minutes, we kind of lacked discipline. Tonight, what happened? That fourth quarter was abysmal. We had a second quarter rise when we were down by 16. We had a third quarter prowess where we came off the half with second half adjustments. That fourth quarter, I don't know what happened, but that 10-point, 12-point lead quickly became a 0-point lead, quickly became SGA's time to take over the game. And where were we? We were on the floor pouting, waiting for the game to end. Missing free throws, too. That was the craziest thing I've ever seen. Sabrina, how are you doing? Yes, grab a sip of water. And welcome all of you to the show.
What's up, guys? Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah.
3 of 13 in the fourth quarter as a team. 3 of 13. That says everything.
Yeah.
This team currently is not serious. They are not a playoff-ready caliber team, and something needs to change. The turnovers need to get cleaned up, and I'm going to get
You get sassy?
I'm going to get sassy. I'm so irritated.
Yeah, tonight was a great indicator of all the things that are wrong in our team, all the naysayers about this team, in a nutshell, might not perform to expectations. Those naysayers are going to shine bright tonight. And we're going to have some criticisms, and we may have been subduing, kind of not explaining some of our malcontents with the team over the last few games because we've been winning. It's been great to be on top. It's just a game, right? But this was a game. This was a very serious game for me, at least as a fan, to root for. But also just like, are we the top of the West? Is this legitimate? And I got a lot of questions. I had a lot of questions last game. I had a lot of questions against, Detroit, and even when we played Memphis. Like how we didn't crush them. Like we started the game against Portland. We just absolutely destroyed them from the start, right? This was not the case. Let's get down early. Let's create a deficit early against the home crowd. Let's revving to go. It really disappointed me. And a lot of finger pointing. Finch was screaming at Cat visibly, as well as a couple times they even showed it on camera. Lots to fix, and I guess I'm grateful that we are getting to see it now to hopefully be able to fix and remedy all this towards the end of the season. But yeah, what are some of your big takeaways from this game, and if any?
We need something. I don't know if it's a lineup change. Can Nas play the 3?
Oh. I heard a yes from behind.
Jaden, his turnovers, his bullshit fouls when he shouldn't be fouling. It's tiki-tack fouls. Yes, Johnny, you're correct.
Hell yeah, Johnny.
I am the biggest supporter of the Jaden as a whole.
He's F tier.
Johnny, come on.
No, I love it. Johnny, we're going to get you on the show too, Johnny. Like,
come say hi now.
What's up, Johnny? Yeah, you can't just be a face. You can't just be a voice.
You can't just be a voice. Say what's up.
Hello. If Jaden plays like that again, he's on a traded block.
We're not going that far.
Yeah. I love it. That's
No.
hilarious.
The idea of Jaden is good.
Yeah, the idea of Jaden is
The way
good.
he's playing, not
At halftime, we saw Shai Gilgeous-Alexander just like control the game from the line, 10 for 10 from the free throw line, and we made some second half adjustments. We played off of him. We played contained game. We played a contained defense against him, and he was kind of relegated to nothing. And they were right when they were talking about in the broadcast. In the third quarter, he didn't really have more than 4 or 5 points in that third quarter, and he doesn't play the first half of that fourth quarter. When he comes back in, that lead isn't 10 or 12. That lead is 2. It's pretty crazy, right? Like we should have built that lead. Maybe.
So,
go ahead.
SGA in the second half was 6 of 13.
Yeah.
So he shot 46%. In the fourth quarter alone, he shot 67%. He was 4 of 6.
Yeah.
If the Wolves see OKC in the playoffs, are we a first round exit?
Ooh, well, I don't know if like who's gonna drop to be a first round matchup. OKC doesn't seem like they've been thriving this year, so it's gonna be like one of 2 teams, and it's not gonna be OKC. So I don't know what you're insinuating there by a first round matchup against OKC, but maybe praise be, like they are awesome. They seemed like a team with a lot of holes, though, and I thought we were exploiting them in moments. We were bigger, we were faster, and actually we weren't faster, but we were bigger. We were playing in like spurts of like great efficiency. I wonder, like, I have some notes in big, bold, like permanent marker on the back of a insurance form. So I don't know what that's all about, but I have a couple questions, and also we'll get to that in a minute.
Yes.
What do you think about the ball movement dilemma of our team? Because we were forcing the ball to be moved today, and I think it's great as a philosophy. But we don't have, outside of Conley and Slow-Mo, we don't have like the best passers on our team. And when Conley has a 1 for 13, like pretty crap outing, like I think he went 1 for 11 tonight, right? That's something. Like he was even benched at moments for more Baby Mac, right? Like where is that actually happening? Where's the ball movement actually happening? And should we just be more ISO when those 2 players specifically aren't on the court? And the philosophy is also in question. Are we a good ISO team?
No.
Exactly. We don't have Jason Tatum. We don't have Jaylen Brown. We don't have the ISO Kings. We don't have, Joel Embiid, right?
There's 3 things that we tend to go to when the offense stalls. Ant ISO, cat at the nail, and searching for somebody from behind the arc. Cat at the nail is risky because he hooks everybody because he gets away with it once or twice in the first or second quarter, and then whatever the case may be. Ant is in a shooting slump. He usually rises to play to good teams. He didn't really play very well tonight. And our ball movement issue, when we have 27 or more assists in a game, we win. It's like we're like 12-2 or 12-1 or something.
Yeah.
If we have over 27 assists in a game, we had 22 tonight. The biggest issue for me tonight, we out-rebounded them 61-45.
Whoa.
And we still lost.
Dang. I feel like a big takeaway from this game is I think people are going to get into the comments here in a second. But turnovers, like where's the discipline? Where's the maturity? Where's the efficiency? Where's the offensive flow? When one thing isn't going, go to the next thing. If the other thing's not going, we got to hit the hot hand and ride the hot hand. We had a Nas moment. We had a nice Nas blip. We had a nice moment there in the second quarter with him, and then in the third quarter we built a lead, and we were just like kind of just basically bodying them. And when SGA goes to the bench, like they were starting to fall apart. My question to you also is, what's up with these slow starts? Like, what is the game plan that allows us to kind of fall back and to like bad habits and low efficiency shots? And you see a cat midi, you see a cat like not square to shoot a three. You're seeing Ant trying to do too much. I think honestly OKC had a great game plan: hustle and hurry up Ant, make him really uncomfortable, and then kind of just play small against Cat, and it usually worked. Like they played Jalen Williams, they played Isaiah Joe on Cat, and it was working at moments. And I was just really frustrated with a lot of that. But like, what happened with the slow start? Do you have any anecdotes or any like kind of takeaways from that as well?
The slow starts. I mean, it stood out. The game against who did we play Thursday?
We played Memphis.
Memphis. So it stood out when Ant said, "I showed up and didn't want to play today."
Oh yeah.
It
right.
seems like when we get off to slow starts that we do not want to be on the court, and then something has to be said to Ant or Cat or Rudy by Slow-Mo, by Mike, by
You're right.
anybody on the bench really, to get them to get, for lack of a better term, their heads out of their ass and start playing like the players we know they are. And I mean, yeah, I'm reading chat here as we talk. We the ones, Jack said, the turnovers neutralized the rebounds. That is very true. So because of the high amount of turnovers we had, the rebounds were kind of null and voided. And I do get that. So if we clean up the turnovers and we rebound the way we're supposed to, and we share the basketball the way we're supposed to, we have recipe for success if people show up to work.
Well, speaking of showing up, thanks so much for showing up tonight. This was kind of an ugly game all throughout. And not just you, Sabrina, but everyone here as well. Let's get to the comments a little bit. An hour and a half ago, Black Mamba says, Ant's lack of aggression is honestly feels so annoying. What happened to those 15-point first quarters? I feel like there's been a shift where we got to get other people involved early in the game just to like establish other people, and then maybe kind of open the pores of their defense so then Ant can like kind of effectively go late in quarters, right? And I've noticed that as a small trend, and I don't really like that trend. I like seeing Ant aggressive early. I also want to see Cat more shooting threes just generally all the time, but like we haven't been seeing a whole lot of that early in games. But yeah, we like last game we saw Jaden kind of pop off, and again tonight we had like Jaden lead the way in the first quarter with like 8 or 9 points, right? Noah, the Thunder gives us the most defensive problems in the entire NBA. Whoa, I did not expect this. Ant has such bad ball security and handles, especially against a team filled with handsy 3-and-D guys. I love that part of the comment. I don't know if like the Thunder are the biggest problems, because I thought we whooped their butts on occasion. I think that they have some holes with like Josh Giddey on their team, because like boy does he pass the ball well, but like he's inept defensively. So they're probably looking at like switching things up to improve their roster in that regard. But I think Mike Conley and Gobert pick and roll is an absolute disaster against a team who can blitz the point and then scatter quickly back to the perimeter. That's a pretty good observation. Sometimes I have like, rose tinted glasses. I'm not like focused on how they're playing, and I'm just focused on how we are executing. And maybe I'm like too belligerently like obsessed with watching Cat's every mistake. Like sometimes I just like miss and dismiss the fact that KC has like a better game plan and better philosophy and better just a roster up and down the whole line. Like moving on here, a couple more comments here. What's up, George Johnston? Ant looks absolutely awful right now. His turnover problem is getting out of hand. Also, what the hell? That make your free throws. What the hell happened there at the end? I don't think I've ever seen that before.
Yeah, he missed the first one, and it's like he just mentally checked out.
You checked out?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. There are some takeaways. There are some positive takeaways from this game, for sure. But like, yeah, I feel like that end of the back-to-back maybe the Memphis like halftime 2 points, 4 assists or something is like okay to like not get too on him about because he tore it up in the second half, especially in that third quarter. But like a game like tonight where you're home, you're against a division rival, essentially the team that's breathing down your neck. You should show out and like take that matchup personally. And usually he does, right? Like I felt like he was completely outclassed, outgunned, out everything against OKC tonight, against
Yeah.
SGA. Most importantly, I think that they just, as Noah described, that they have like the dudes to really hurry up and really frustrate Ant. And so how as we as a team, how do we adapt? And I felt like we were just lucky with the string of threes to get back into the game, and then we were lucky to just like hurry, get great offense in transition. I think we were lucky and fortunate to get those moments where I think OKC for the better part of this game was outplaying us. Okay, Noah says right before the end of the game. I'm sorry, I'm like 40 minutes behind on these comments. We'll get through some of them here. I might have to skip down. Don't care if we win this. 0 chance we beat this team in 7, especially if the Thunder make a deadline move as well. They have all these pieces. They have all this luxury to push for an all-in kind of essential, or like at least like a contending type of move. And I think good for OKC if they try to do it. Cool, Mason. Welcome to the show. I've been telling y'all we lose to OKC in 5 or 6 games in the playoff series, just like what you were saying, Sabrina. Like if we match up against them, not like a 1 versus 8, but like a semi-conference or even conference final. Like, what happens? How do we actually square up? And do we have the maturity to like adapt? I was watching Cat struggling to get open, and I was watching Ant get basically bodied all game. So like if those 1A, 1B options are like not there, luckily we had a bench mob that came up to a fruition, but that's not going to be every game, right? One more comment I had like my little notes here. Sabrina, maybe your thoughts are going to be different, but we actually shot the 3 pretty well tonight. Like we shot it a lot as well, but we outscored them from 3. That is something that I have noticed in the last like 6 to 8 games. We have not been doing. And I even made a point of it in the Memphis game that we were outscored from 3. And I think just to compete in today's NBA, we need to just make that a priority. And I was really happy and really encouraged to see that. However, the Mike Conley from 3 was 1 for 9. The Ant Edwards was 1 for 3, right? The best shooting big of all time was 1 for 4, right? Like that should not happen, right? I'm just sorry, like that's disgusting. So we could have been so much better from 3. Luckily, we had our bench to come through. But I don't know. What are your thoughts on that, the three-point shooting? As we get to more comments, I might just start hovering over them as we move on.
Our 3-point shooting, it's our starters can be hot or they can be ice cold. And then Naz Reid can either be hot or ice cold. Nikhil, same thing, hot or ice cold. And I think it's a basketball thing, but it's also in a sense that we don't have somebody that's quote unquote consistent from 3. Like, love him or hate him, at least when Beasley played well, he was consistent from 3. At least when Patrick Beverley was shooting the ball from 3 well, he was consistent in hitting them. Mike Conley was that for us. Yeah. But then he goes 1 of like 9 from 3 today and 1 of 11 total or something. Like, at what point do we look at some of our younger players? Like, maybe when does Leonard Miller get some run? When do we try something? Because what we've been trying now is clearly not working.
What an interesting point in a time where we are like having the West like kind of like looking at us and being like, oh, we can beat you, we can take you down, and like OKC does it like that. One thing that they did do was push pace a bit, right? One thing that they did do was we were careless with the ball, but they pushed in transition and they just completely dumpstered us in transition. And so could we have a faster roster out there, please? Can we play with like purpose? Could a Leonard Miller change our complexion of our team or roster? The answer is probably very unknown, and especially the fact that he hasn't been getting any burn. Maybe it's a maybe there's a sign there, but maybe like we didn't play a whole lot of Nas Reed at the start when Finch took over, and was he wrong, so we got to have a lot of like growing pains when we got to get through this maturity of our roster, like what our team wants to ultimately want to be. Welcome to the show again, JJ Creates, my friend. Miss you, but you come when we lose, and I love that. Even extra anxious Townsend was 3 free throws. Yeah, what a take, what a take. But he
So,
wasn't available for those last 16 seconds, was he?
and I don't necessarily agree with that. I think Jay will pushed off. I think that OKC as a whole gets away with way more push-offs and shove-offs than is acceptable in the NBA, but I do know that's not the reason we lost. We lost because we turned the ball over and allowed Anthony Edwards to get stripped because he has no ball security whatsoever right now.
Wow. Yeah, I do agree with that. Like they're handsy both on the defensive end as well as offensive end, but they are handsy in the sense that they like, it's SGA's like forearm push off. Maybe I didn't see that on full display tonight, but I definitely did see it where they called fouls or they just let it happen. That's his game. I don't know. Like, what did we do when we saw Harden like take over the game with all his like travels? They changed the game. They changed the rules where traveling is acceptable now, apparently, Anyways, that's me weird with a weird take. Black Mamba, we've seen this coming. Edwards is terrible free throw shooting in 10 shots. Wow. It's kind of crazy to see that. Like, I think we are at times over reliant on Edwards to like we need that Edwards, we need that Edwards moment, that Edwards takeover, the closing moments of the game. That's kind of we're expecting that in a lot of ways. I remember a month ago, maybe even talking to you about like, is our team becoming clutch? Are we winning games now based off the fact that we can stall like extending a lead for like 40 minutes and then like kill a team in the end based off the fact that we have that closer? But yeah, when you shoot 10 times, you're in no rhythm. When you shoot 1 for 3 or 1 for 4 from 3, you have no, there's no flow for you. So sure, you got to the line a couple times. Like not good enough. Like
My biggest thing is we go into the bonus a lot and they refuse to drive to the basket.
Yeah, totally. Gobert is great at getting those calls, right? To get us into the bonus situation. Gobert is really hard to like defend when they're small, when they don't have like Big J Williams or whatever out there. And Chet was like a pencil compared to Gobert, right? Like he was not like able to really like box out or like defend Gobert in the post. But we kind of sometimes have an over reliance of like pushing the ball to Gobert. But the chances are we'll get a call or we'll get a fall call to get in the bonus. And you're right. Where's the aggression? Where's the ambition to get to the line? Why do we need to like, fall to the ground and flail our arms to get a call and do this and like clap our hands and get a tech? Like maybe there's something that we need to like address with the refs privately, but also like it's also a person, it's also our team. Like no one's driving to the rim. One of my biggest red flags of our team was the ball handling and who is actually going to drive to the rim.
Yeah,
coming this season. Go ahead.
There needs to be more set plays. We need to come out and run a set play for Rudy, a set play for Cat, a set play for Ant, Conley, Jaden. Finch needs to be better in situations like this. And there's a comment in chat. I don't know. You're probably way still taller up than me, but Nick Anderson. No, you're fine. Nick Anderson said it's poor officiating tonight, but I feel like they were bad on both sides, and that is correct. There was a lot that could have gotten called on us. There was a lot that should have gotten called on us and should have gotten called on them. And it was ticky-tack fouls that shouldn't have been there. I will say I did see somebody in chat say that Oklahoma City wouldn't know how to play with a playoff whistle, and I do agree with that to a certain extent. But I feel like just like Ant rose to the occasion last year, even though we struggled against Denver, I think that SGA, when he gets to that limelight, yeah.
Yeah. I'm so behind. I am 20 minutes behind on comments. I'm going to start rushing through them. I'm so sorry, but I can't dismiss this one from Mason Smith. At least we have Goat Brina to help us through. And Maurice! Oh, Maurice! Welcome. He's a Dallas Mavericks fan, but he made it to stream. We're a wild team, Maurice. The same commentary I gave you at dinner is the exact same commentary I'm basically spitting out right now. And well, also Ant Edwards is an alpha in the worst possible way at times. Nick Anderson, who changed his name in Discord. By the way, hashtag Discord. Join the Discord. I don't know where the link is, but I think it's in the commentary section of our show. Join us because we are angrily talking about this game together, as well as we have the over-unders. We have all these other fun kind of moments where we share job opportunities with each other. Anywho, it's a great time. It's a good time. And just if you have this moment to like, share, subscribe, I don't know, do all the things. We are so close to 1,000 subscribers, and that'll just be something that would be just uncharted territory for us. So cool. And yeah, Jim Pete nailed it. At this point in the season, turnovers need to be improving. At this point in the season, why is the top of the West like a team underperforming, playing like we are a G League team? Yeah, like why are we forcing things? Why is Cat and Ant driving to the rim with the anticipation of their passing isn't where it needs to be? And if Conley isn't passing, we have a really unstructured offense. We tend to rely a little bit more on the ISO. We tend to rely on the nail Cat drives, as you talked about earlier. If Slow-Mo isn't in there, like the passing is kind of not crisp, right? So it's heavily reliant on Ant. And throughout the stretch of games, potentially the majority of the season, Ant has had a pretty high turnover rate. I actually commend him for trying and trying to expand his game. But low key, it's kind of sometimes hurting us. So great point on that. And it's in the middle of my Packers game. 26 total shots from our big three. What the hell? The box score tells so much. Sometimes it lies a little bit. But like the 26 total shots, that's nuts. Can't happen. Like, why is Naz Reid and Jaden McDaniels like leading us at halftime, right, in scoring? That's pretty crazy. That should not happen. My blood pressure is shot, Sabrina. I was thinking Nas for Rudy at the end of the games. Yeah, it's so nutty. We were up 10, and we were just forcing. We were forcing slow ball movement, and I think it was like 24 seconds on the shot clock, and we were running through all of it, and we were barely getting a shot up. And
folks definitely did say he had that.
Okay. Yeah.
I wish I knew a way to track how many turnovers came from trying to force the ball to Rudy in the paint.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed. Gerald, my friend, we already have replacements for Carl and Jaden on the team. Imagine if we got a real shooter. Carl clearly isn't one because he's worried about stats and real role players for around 20 million. We will probably not talk about this in depth tonight, but that's an episode. That's an episode. Eric Heller.
Maybe during the All-Star break, the trade deadline's before that, so
yeah.
Maybe we'll have to take an off night and talk about potential trades and what we want to see or what we think needs to happen.
Sure. George Johnson says, consider trading Jaden for Mikal Bridges. I love that idea. I don't know if Brooklyn's like, maybe Mikal's value is lower now, but that is the potential.
Brooklyn isn't going to trade. We'd have to give us something like we gave up for Rudy for Michael Bridges or Mikal Bridges.
Yeah.
And I don't think Brooklyn's going to give up Mikal Bridges because they're building around him. I think.
I know, but
I wanted us to do this last year, but could we potentially beat the Lakers or the Kings or whoever's supposedly in talks for DeJounte Murray? What does Detroit want for Jaden Ivey? What does Washington want for Alex Burks? These are the questions that plague my mind at 3:00 when I can't sleep.
Yeah, totally. I think Alex Burks actually plays for Detroit, which is crazy. But I agree. And
I believe he was part of that trade where Detroit sent players.
Oh, Marvin Bagley?
Yeah.
Oh, no kidding. What?
Maybe I'm wrong. Hold on.
It's okay. It's such an irrelevant thing, but like an Alec Burks would be nice. But is it going to really move the needle? I'm not a whole lot sure. Mason's got to agree with Gerald.
I'm thinking of Marvin.
We're moving on. We're going to skip
Yeah.
ahead to some of the comments. What's up, Tycoon? Starting five for the Wolves look rattled tonight. Why are we
They did.
rattled against like the G League All Stars and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander? Like I actually am kidding on that point, but like, why are we rattled? We are paying 3 times the payroll as OKC for to be down 30-15 in the first quarter. Like it's pretty embarrassing. Moving on. Hey, let's get into the tier list here. If you're interested in following us in our journey, we usually have a tier list, but boy, did that site break down, and I've had to improv a Google spreadsheet or a Google sheet for this, and I don't know. This is just a live look at how we do things on the fly. Now with a black background. Anywho. Yeah, we already talked about this point, but like, man, we talked about that point 20 minutes ago. I'm so behind. Didn't want to and wasn't ready to, but are two different things. He never said that he wouldn't want it to play. Okay, that's very true.
Yes, I misquoted Ant, and I apologized in chat. So
it's all good. Hey, there was a really funny conversation that happened between Grady and Jim P tonight, and there was someone who talked to Jim Pete, and it brought up on air that there's going to be a lot of people there that might make their change their name and or name their babies Naz Reid. What are your takes, and are you willing to change your name to Naz Reid?
I'm not willing to change my name to Naz Reid, but I do think that there are going to be a bunch of Wolves diehards that potentially name their kid Nas. We already have a cat that's named Naz Reid. So
Yeah. Went
Shout out
viral on
Anj-
Jeopardy.
shout out Angie and Anna and everybody over at Boy Links Pod.
Yeah, totally. Oh yeah, I love that. JJ creates Gobert turning over anything outside of a quick drop in dunk doesn't help the turnover problem. It's like whenever he brings the ball down, it's an auto TO exactly. Towns with the offensive fouls, getting Edwards getting stripped, throwing it away. These 3 things exist every night. I love that take. It happens every game. Sometimes we compensate for this. We actually win despite all of this nonsense. So in a lot of ways, that's like you could say that's like room for improvement. But like it's a habit. It's like a known entity. We are doing this in a game, and teams are game planning for it. If you hurry Ant, he's going to probably turn the ball over. He doesn't have a escape move that is reliable sometimes, especially when he's in the air. Cat has 1 or 2 moves, and he thinks he has 10 or 11 moves, and even one of his moves is kind of like faulty, right? It has its risks, and it has him hooking players and getting into offensive problems and falling down and things like that. But the main thing, as Twin City Bulldog said about 11 minutes ago, the turnovers killed us. I'm going to move ahead to the bottom of the comments. I'm so sorry if I missed some people. Oh, Corbin Ford, what's up, my friend? It's good to see you too. I love it. When we lose, we get the out of towners. I love to see that. That's so great. Alrighty. Yeah, we're back to dead camera, and so I might have you take over for a minute, and that also means we're going to lose the tier list for a second. I'm so sorry. We'll be right back.
Let me go back up the chat here. Holy, you guys have been talking. Okay. Naz Reid travel and goaltending calls, 4-point swing right there. Curious what the last 2-minute report will say about the Town 6 foul. I mean, I'm not blaming the refs. JJ, you're not blaming the refs. Shai had 33 points and only 1 made 3-point shot tonight. Ant needs to take notes. Yeah, I do think that what did Shai end up shooting for the game? Like
he was 10 for 22.
Yeah, so he was 10 of 22. So 33 points on 10 made shots is not good for basketball, but that's a superstar whistle for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be honest that Nas running like 8 seconds off the clock possession just to drive for 2 points which lucky for him, it got goaltended, was irritating. Oh my God.
All right, we're getting into the tier list on Eric
Yes.
Heller's comment that cat barrels into people too much as well. All right, let's go. Tier list time. Oh, I'm just staring at OKC's box score. That's silly. Jordan McLaughlin. Can we just say big ups to Jordan McLaughlin after having a kind of a
Absolutely.
watch-out performance last game against Memphis. Jordan McLaughlin, at least in his limited time, he played probably extended periods of time tonight, even with Conley at one point. 3 for 7, 8 points, 3 assists, 2 steals, and most importantly, 2 threes that look like Curry swish pops. I don't know. That was sweet to see. I want to say I'm very proud of him for kind of like always staying ready, even in like a 2-minute burst. Like that's usually uncommon to play double-digit minutes. And I'm glad to see this, but we can't rely on him. So like I don't know really what to say. I'm giving him potentially a B or an A grade. What are your thoughts?
I mean, McLaughlin was 3 of 7 in 12 minutes and 39 seconds played. He was 2 of 3 from 3, which was incredible. We needed him off the bench at that time. And his offensive rebounds, he had 2.
Yeah, that's an A right there.
The little bald man had 2 offensive rebounds.
Yes.
That's an A. And
Totally.
I'm reading chat. Mason, Gobert has ping pong paddles for hands. Everything bounces off.
Everything bounces off.
can't.
Dude, I think the trend is pickleball. So I think he has
Yes.
pickleball like waffle hands for hands. Yeah, that's crazy. Man, we went from Butterfinger, Vanderbilt to Gobert and ping pong balls, man, or ping pong paddles. That's crazy.
Oh yeah, J-Mac had a blocked shot. I forgot about that.
Oh my gosh.
That's incredible.
Right. It almost feels like A1 territory, but we lost and we were embarrassing. So
They
that's not
didn't
happening tonight.
They didn't credit him with a block shot.
But they also didn't credit like Naz Reid for that
Reid.
block shot. And,
Yeah, that was bullshit.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Yeah, BS for sure. The hyphen, Nikhil Alexander Walker in 20 minutes, 3 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 turnovers. A block shot. You know what? Not my favorite Nikhil Alexander Walker game. He was getting praise from Jim Pete and Grady. And I thought he had a kind of a weird assignment. I remember that play-in game a couple of years ago when we played against OKC. We completely shut him down. That was last season, sorry. We completely shut him down, and Nikhil Alexander Walker was like MVP of that game. Completely no SGA in sight. Well, SGA is definitely an MVP-like caliber player to this year. And Nikhil Alexander was kind of a no-show tonight, in my opinion. This is not what I expect. And also, I was starting to give him praise for like playing as a playmaker, and I didn't see any of that tonight. I'm looking like D'Lo tonight for our boy Nikhil.
Nikhil is a D'Lo for me. This is not what we expect from him. This is less than what we minimally expect for him. With him playing the way he did tonight, yeah, he was good on defense. But I mean, at what point do we look and see either Kyle or Nikhil or even Jordan McLaughlin? Do we maybe try Troy Brown again?
Yeah, I really hate, like, you said the word try, and I'm, like, embarrassed. Like, we don't have it 42 games in the season. We don't have our roster situated. We don't have the players locked in.
I think Finch needs to be willing to go over that 8 or 9 man rotation. Yeah. I don't think we're going to be an 8 or 9 man on the bench team come the playoffs. I think we're going to need to go deep into the bench, especially since we have so many guys that can contribute.
Yeah. And we're getting distracted by darkness retreats here. So I'm going to hide this comment, as you are so correct, though, Mason. Slow-mo, who should probably join in on the darkness retreats, ni hao, slow-mo, which, don't quote that. That was pretty stupid of me to say. In 20 minutes, 5 points, 4 assists, 2 fouls, a steal. But most importantly, I thought he played better than the stats are showing. I think I was basically clamoring for him to substitute for Cat early in the game, much earlier than Finch actually did it. And it's most important that we establish ball movement and get others and get everyone going. But like Cat didn't have it going in the start. Ant was, kind of a shell of himself, kind of like reluctant to get aggressive. And when Conley is 1 for 10 from the game, 1 for 11 from the game, but definitely like 0 for 2, 0 for 3 in the first quarter or whatever it was. Well, okay, so the ball movement is kind of a hindrance because no one cares or trusts the person with the ball in their hands, right? So
Yeah.
like now it's like they can sag off and then they can protect the paint, and then now he can't drive, and then the shots are off. They were schooling us at the start of the game. So long story short, like I think Slow-Mo had a better game than the sum of his parts, like the box score, but still not good enough. And I think potentially C.
I mean, potentially it could be, I'm going to go C, but it could potentially be a B just because he's typically turning the ball over in a game and he had no turnovers today. So it's in that situation, it's a little more than what I expect, but I agree. He definitely should be a C.
Where is he? Here you are. Alrighty.
Yeah, Mason's correct. This is the first game we lost where Kyle made a 3.
Oh no, the stats. They're blemished. Boston. You saw Boston lose last night, and I guess we can lose when Slow-Mo hits a 3-2. For those who are just joining in, welcome to the show. We're Wolves After Dark. Love to have you here. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. I don't know if you like this type of content, but if you do, that's awesome. That'd be great to have you here for more of our shows that happen after most games. OKC beat us 102-97 on the backs of 33 points from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, as well as like 15, 16 free throws from him. But we had some like pretty stellar box score, at least results, but most importantly, it didn't like translate to a win. And so if you see like the defense stats here, though we out rebounded them, though maybe we shot better than them, we had triple the turnovers. Like what is that, right? We didn't have as many steals as them, so like they were overcompensating by their lack of shooting and the fact that we were out shooting them from three with just aggressive defense. And what, aren't we the number one defense? Aren't we the one who can like completely stop and thwart teams from making their offense look easy? And I remember games prior where like Isaiah Joe popped off from three and like Lou Dort was like unstoppable from three. They didn't have that tonight. They didn't have the 3-point shot tonight. Yet they completely owned us in the areas that I thought we would be able to destroy. And when I say own, I thought this was a game where we could have really pulled away when we built a 10, 12-point lead, and we did the exact opposite. Well, moving back onto the tier list, as I had that little diatribe, I guess, let's get into Naz Reid, who had quite a phenomenal first half, I will say. When we were struggling, when we were down, like, what was it, like almost 30-15, 32-16 or something like that, it was Naz. It was the Naz Reid show. One of two players to get us in double, like at least to get us back in the game, with Jaden McDaniels as the other one. In 25 minutes, 7 for 13 from the floor, 18 points, a team high, plus or minus 17. And I don't know if it's a season high, but I definitely had not really expected Naz to be like the block shot post defender that he had been tonight. While he'd still got hustled a couple times, like he has his moments where at least he's not like unreliable on D. He can kind of be dependable in moments. In a way, I'm seeing growth from him, growth, maturity, poise, like all the things that we want in our players. Where I'm not seeing it maybe in his who he's subbing for. I'm giving Naz a B.
Naz is a B for me tonight. I will say though, he is starting to pick up Cant and Ant's nasty habit of arguing with the officials.
Oh no!
And it's starting to get annoying watching him do the exact same thing that we yell and complain at Cat and Ant for doing. But Naz had 4 turnovers tonight, and that's pretty high for him. He's been really good with his ball security, so that is pretty concerning for me.
Sure.
However, 25 minutes, 7 of 13, 4 of 8 from 3.
No.
That's what we should expect, from our sixth man. So.
Yeah. In 7.5 minutes, Naz Reid in the fourth quarter, 2 turnovers, 2 points.
Yeah.
In the third quarter, we had 1 turnover. In the fourth quarter alone, we had 7 turnovers. Who can we kind of really attribute that to? Ant and Naz. That was the bulk of our turnovers.
Yeah,
Players.
The other thing that you said is Naz was a team high plus 17. None of the starters were positive. They were all
Embarrassing,
negative.
right?
It's disgusting.
Yeah. I actually agree with this. And I will quote you completely. Go Barry. Completely ignoring Giddy on offense was hilarious. Yeah, I really feel like they have some holes and they have some things that they need to address just as much as we do. But I feel like they're just the way that they move the ball is something that I just long for our team. We're not there yet. Hopefully, we'll get there someday. Hey, we're gonna move on to the starters. And my stats are off. Let's get back to them. Let's start with maybe the poison pill tonight, where we were singing his praises the last few games, maybe all season since the trade of D'Lo, that he has been the rock for our team. Mike Conley, 28 minutes, 3 points, a team high -22 from the floor, plus minus 1 for 9 from 3. You know what? I will give him that. He shot 9 times from 3. You can't say that about Cat for the majority of the season, right? But at least he shot 9 times from 3. In a season where we are looking and hunting for 3-point shots at times, I'm happy about that. However, absolute dog shit performance. I can't say that enough. I'm so disappointed, and in a weird way, I expected Mike Conley to miss that shot at the end of the game, right? I totally expected that to happen because I thought Ant should have taken it. I thought Ant should have driven to the rim and actually not kicked it out, and he maybe made the right play. But in a game where Conley was feeling it, it would be easier to kind of live with that shot being a miss. But why were we passing it to him? Why was he open? Why was Cat not open? All these things are super suspect to me about late game execution, especially when I thought we were starting to become a clutch team. This is a D'Lo, if not a Wancho, performance from our boy Mike Conley.
This is a Wancho. It's the first Wancho of the year for Mike Conley.
Yeah. I don't know if you have any other comments. Sorry, I was just kind of vomiting here about Conley. If you have anything else, let me know.
Everything you said is completely true.
Yeah. And yeah, JJ, I think he's been on a tear this year. Maybe some of his best statistical deep stats that we'll see from Conley in his career. But tonight, 1 for 9, that's gonna suck. 3 turnovers, that usually doesn't happen. He's usually a 2.0 assist to turnover ratio kind of guy, maybe even more. And he used 4 assists, 3 turnovers. That's not going to cut it. We had no ball movement, and his lack of shooting was part of it. They could just sag off of him, right? They would not defend him. And
he did make 1 from 3, so he does keep that streak alive, and he's up to 50 plus games of shooting a 3. So I mean, that's cool. But Conley had Jalen Williams or J-Dub.
Yeah.
The guy that Jalen Williams. So he had 20 points with SGA's 33. So he was the second leading scorer.
Yeah. Great observation, Noah. And I feel like there's I don't know why I'm thinking of Toronto. They recently switched from a very switchable team with Siakam and OG and Scotty Barnes to kind of quicker, taller, more defensive oriented guards. And then they have a lot more ball handlers that can run offense and be aggressive with the ball and quickly and whatever they traded for. I think they traded for Bruce Brown. Maybe I'm wrong in some of that conversation or some of that analysis there. Hashtag analysis. But what was I trying to say? OKC. They have a lot of ball handlers on their team, and they're tall, and they're kind of bulky in a lot of ways. I don't think Giddey is that, but he's tall, and he's a matchup problem potentially for Conley. So that's a great point. I wonder what his percentage has dropped after tonight. Yeah, exactly. What's up, Crown 151? welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, today was a bad loss for sure. Ella Keller, it was a bad night for Conley, but that's going to happen sometimes. We are just so used to him playing so well. I think exactly. That's another point. I'll get to here the tier list when we talk about Antis. We were just so used to him kind of doing the closing out things, right?
I think this was what we considered a quote unquote scheduled loss, especially with all the sub 500 teams that we've been playing. I think that this was an interesting, this was an interesting game. But if it's a game that we were quote unquote supposed to lose, I think this would be the one, because I mean, we play the Hornets on Monday. What do we play after that? I think it's the Wizards, and then we play OKC at the end of the month. Like,
whoa, really? Dang.
I'm pretty sure our next couple games are the Wizards and the Hornets, and we end the month at OKC.
Well, we can end this month strong, and I think that would be a great sign of growth and maturity if we can do that, especially with these next couple games, if that's true, if that's who we're playing. Anyways, we could fall down to the level of competition. But Jaden McDaniels, the start of the game was amazing for you. The end of the game, I don't know. You fouled yourself like kind of out of the game and out of the rhythm, and I thought you had a really, really great start to this game, especially with like the 8-9 points that you had in the first quarter. Jaden McDaniels, Big Mac himself, Slim Reaper.
Put him in Wancho.
Without even giving him his stats, 15 points, 3 for 5 from 3, a couple turnovers, and really basically nothing else. While he was effective shooting-wise, yeah. Is this a box score lie right there?
Yeah.
Wait,
Right?
say that again?
He's 6 for 11 for the floor with 15 points and 3 for 5 from 3, right?
That's
But he's still a Wancho?
No. I was being hilarious at the time because we all know how much I praise Jaden.
Oh.
He's a C for the night. But
alrighty.
Very much I would give him a Wancho if I could. He is not playing like the player that we all know and love him to be.
What's up, Disco? All right. He's been lurking. Gonna have to say his piece. If Mike Conley hit 3 for 9, we win, and still had 21 turnovers. Oh, so we had 21 turnovers, and they were within 4 with off games from everyone. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, we lost by what? 4 or 5? And we turned the ball over 21 times. We could have easily lost by triple that. So
that's true. It's scary, right? This is scary to think about.
It means our defense was still there, even if we struggled. I like Mason, what he said, the fouling has to stop from Jaden, though. Yes. The reason that I am getting so frustrated with Jaden, and I, like everybody knows, I am the president of his fan club. And the fouls when he gets upset, I got irritated at my boyfriend earlier because he said it and I didn't want to accept it, but I thought about it.
Thank you.
And he's true.
I never lie on Jaden's name.
I know. But no, when he gets emotional and he gets pissed off that he doesn't get a call or he gets shoved off on or something happens, he misses a shot, he gets super emotional. That's why he punched a wall. I mean, part of it is he's only 23 years old, 22, 23 years old, but the maturity needs to improve. Like, for the team as a whole, Rudy is 30 years old and he acts like Ant and Jaden and the young core. And he's 30. Cat is a 9-year veteran, and we all know Cat is how Cat is. But he could use some maturity too. Yes, Jaden is a huge part of the turnover problem. But Anthony Edwards is the bigger problem when it comes to turnovers because he has such loose handles. And he doesn't know how to keep the ball safe when he drives to the bucket.
He's not AI.
Yeah.
He's not AI.
AI is the only one who can do it.
He's, not in his prime, right? Like, he is still learning, and I think there's like a usage issue where maybe we're relying too much on him, or we just are heavily relying on him taking over the ball because when he performs, he's like in ISO mode. He's in like I'm on fire, heat check kind of mode, and he needs the ball in his hands for that to work. Well, we're also asking him to do the other things, which is run the offense, which is like find the open man, find the open shooter. It's so funny. Like throughout your entire history of playing basketball. Shouldn't you do that by default? But in like AAU style basketball, you're trying to show up and show out. So you're not looking for others. You're looking for yourself to take over games, and you're like making very selfish decisions, right? And the Kyle Andersons, the role players of the league are very unsung heroes. When we talk about roster makeups, you talk about the alphas in the room, and they need to be selfish for the team to actually run well, right? So Ant needs to take the game over, and Ant needs to be more aggressive, and that's for all 48 minutes, all the 38 minutes that he plays tonight. Let's talk about Ant right now. 38 minutes, 19 points. He shot exceptionally well, 6 for 10. But it's 6 for 10. That's not a halftime report. That's not just a third quarter report. That's the whole game. We are so accustomed to him taking over games, but also shooting at least 20 times a game. It's the inverse of like the Wiggins problem, where Wiggins would be reluctant to shoot, but also would just jack up shots.
In the game following,
yeah.
So we played Memphis on Thursday night. So that was 2 days ago. On the Friday show of NBA Today. So in the game following, the day where Stephen A. Smith, Kendrick Perkins, Malika Andrew, Brian Windhorst, Richard Jefferson are all shouting Anthony Edwards' praises. Stephen A. Smith went as far to say that he would buy a plane ticket to come to Minnesota because that's where the national media needed to be because of Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards is one of his favorite players in the game, right? You come out the next night as the superstar for this team, and you only have 19 points on 10 shots. And you call yourself an all-star.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy because we're going to get to another player on our team that probably should take the game over when he's needing to. But we've seen it this whole season that he's been kind of unable to, right? Because the ball's not always in his hands. And when the ball's in his hands, he's making kind of careless decisions. And we're talking about Cat here. Back to Ant, 5 turnovers, right? Though he had 5 rebounds and 5 assists, he had 5 turnovers. Cannot happen in today's NBA when you're the superstar. You can't be making 10,000 mistakes.
He made a 5-by-5-by-5 game. It was just 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and 5 turnovers.
Oof, that's gross. Yeah, never again. Also, he missed 3 free throws from the end of the game when we could have tied it, sent it to overtime, and had a delayed post-game show. That would have been kind of fun.
He didn't just miss. He bricked. Those bricks were the loudest shots that he's taken this month. Those 3 missed free throws wipe out that dunk from the Memphis game. I'm sorry. Yeah. It wipes it. He's a D-Lo at best. And I honestly think he needs to be a Wancho.
Let's go. Let's make it happen. I think so too. My camera breaks apart again. I'm embarrassed about my camera here, but maybe too much touching of Ant here. That's what happened. My camera's going to be static for the rest of this show. Anyways, we're going to move on. We're going to go a little bit faster here. Rudy Gobert, 33 minutes, 1 for 6. What is that? 1 for 6, 7 points, 18 rebounds.
Pickleball paddles for hands.
Yeah, and pickleball paddles for hands. This wasn't the best game from Gobert. He, hit his free throws for the most part.
He was 1 of 6. How are you the biggest rim deterrent in the game, but you can't make a layup? You can't catch a pass unless it's a lob. And even the lobs, you've been fumbling the past couple of games. I don't know what you have to do, Rudy, but get your fucking shit together. I'm sorry. Put him in D-Lo and let's get on to fucking the big meow.
Oh my gosh.
I'm over talking about this team.
You're over it.
I'm over it tonight. Like,
oh man,
we need to regroup because we play the Hornets on Monday.
Yeah, let's regroup as a team, as a community. Let's just forget about this game. The big meow, the cat purr, the size 20 feet himself with 10 toes down. Karl Anthony Towns, 35 minutes, 19 points. Sounds good on paper. However, 4 for 10 shots. That's even worse than Ant. In my opinion, 1 for 4 from 3 is the best shooting big of all time. That's even more atrocious and embarrassing. Yeah, he got 10 for 10 free throws. That's awesome. That's the bulk of his points, by the way. I just want to say, and he got 11 rebounds. By the way, were you watching the game or am I blind? He was like actively like disrupting rebounds from other players for like most of the game, including Rudy and including the other players, and it even made him slow to run back in transition. He fouls out in this game, and I thought most of his drives were stopped before they were shots. Like that's embarrassing when the team isn't the opposition isn't as big as him. I struggle. I struggle to care. I struggle to kind of defend when he has games like this. While it looks good on paper, right? A
Yeah.
double double. It's just a paper. It's just a stat. It's not what I think the pulse of the game needed. This game needed someone to take over the game, and we had Nas for a moment. We had Jaden in the beginning, and then we had really no one else, right?
Cat.
No one else came to play, and it was really sad.
He started getting to the line, driving to the bucket when it was Chet was sitting and it was their backup big in. You can't stop driving to the bucket, especially when we're in the bonus, because none of them little motherfuckers can guard him in the paint, especially if he's driving. And I like what Nick said. He said, are these rankings only about offense? Tonight we played okay defense, but y'all are one-showing everyone. Our identity as a team is defense. We can't play okay defense and expect to win games. We need to play the elite defense that we are currently known for. That is why we are one-showing people.
I love this comment. LeBron will miss 1 out of 3. Jimmy Butler would miss 1 out of 3. Gerald comes back and says, high turnovers are a consequence of getting him the reps he needs. People need to worry less about the 22-year-old and look elsewhere. I want to agree with that commentary. I think we need to put him in better positions to address these issues. And I think a lot of it is just sheer getting him off the ball to get the ball into a scoring position rather than him having to reassess the defense and ISO the ball and takes 10 seconds off the shot clock. We need to move the ball. We need to move him to get to an open spot when we pass him the ball. I think we do a lot less of that.
Noah said it best. I think if Ant just gets better ball security, that alone will cut down turnovers and help him create space without extending extra energy to do so. Also, if he has better ball security and he starts to, with that ball security, see the floor better, it's going to help with his passing. And a lot of his turnovers come off of bad passes because he's not making the right read or the best read. And he's throwing cross front of the bucket where there's 3 defenders. So Edwards got to work on the handle this summer. He can work on the handle currently in the season and fix it. And I mean, yeah, it's crazy. He's only 22. This is year 4, or he's only 22. This is year 4. Yeah. Like, I don't know. But yeah, so that's the tier list.
That's the tier list. I just made big head cat for reasons unknown. I actually don't know where we landed on him. I'm kind of sick of talking about him, as you were saying. Let's get on and over with this game. But let's just kind of put him in D-Lo where I think he belonged, even despite his stats kind of looking okay. It's not okay for our potential all-star, which by the way, tonight is the last night to vote. What a night to vote. Your all-star, hopeful superstar bricks 3 free throws at the end of the game, and Cat, fouls himself out, and Rudy Gobert, who's like efficiency king, goes 1 for 6 from 3. So vote 3 times on a loss, because tonight's your last time. Cool. Nailed it, Mason.
All right. So we have got the Hornets at home on Monday.
Yep.
We're at the Wizards on the 24th. We are at the Nets on the 25th. So we have a back-to-back in DC and Brooklyn. And then we are at the Spurs on the 27th. We are at OKC on the 29th. And we are home against the Mavericks to end January. That is our next 6 games.
Okay.
Realistically, we should go 5 of 6 We have the potential to go 0-6 because this is the Minnesota Timberwolves. I am not putting that in the atmosphere, though. I honestly think that we're going to beat the Hornets. We're going to beat the Wizards. I don't think the Nets can beat us. We're going to beat the Spurs. We're going to get our lick back on the Thunder, and Dallas is Dallas. We could lose to them. We could win to them. I think that's the toss-up.
Sure. You know what? I love that we get to close out this month with some real tests, right? Dallas and OKC. I think we need more tests like this. Like, this is going to make us a stronger team. Losing like this, I hope we rebound and absolutely destroy whoever our next opponent is. But look at that. We're one game from, OKC taking over the West, which is such a crazy experience to witness, both us at the top as well as OKC down our, throats, right? So sorry for having to leave and exit, rejoin the stream. Thank you guys as always for joining us, and Sabrina, for you to join us as well. On a moment's notice, you're there. You cancel all plans. It's great.
50 wins is still possible.
Yeah, 52 wins is maybe in our sights, but I don't know. Like, what were we in the 03-04 season? I think we were 59. 59 wins. So this was 60 wins would be probably, historical. It would be like the top franchise record of the NBA, of our in a lineage as a team. So it'd be pretty crazy to see. That's what we're like seeing in terms of 30-12. If we duplicated that, we'd be 60 wins. So that's pretty crazy. So, and yet we are talking about our team like this on a game like tonight. It is just facts from us. Like I like, it's hashtag analysis. It's not like deep analysis. It's like right after the game, what are our thoughts? But like, our refined thoughts would be like, this is not just a blip. This has kind of been a trend. Our season's like our season like roster composition has had holes in it since its inception, right? Wow.
Cam, I think what were we the Clippers play-in season? Were we? It was 40. What was it? 45.
Yeah, something like that, like 45, 44, and something. We were basically neck and neck with the Clippers when we had Beverly and Ant. Yeah.
I was at that play-in game, and honestly, I think if we can go and we can match that win total, I think we'll be okay. I don't think anybody under the Clippers will be able to catch us, honestly.
Oh,
so
cool.
I'm predicting. I mean, I would love to finish as a 1 seed, but I am predicting we finish top 4, as I have since the beginning of the season. So
nice. Well, when we got Rudy Gobert, I definitely predicted ourselves to get 70 wins. That was a mistake, but we'll see if this year bears more fruit there in that regard. Hey, Sabrina, thank you so much for joining us. I hope that was fun for you. It probably was miserable. It was miserable for me too.
I don't like talking bad about our team.
Yeah.
I don't.
Right. It's hard because like we've been doing so well, and we kind of are the blemishes of our season. We've been kind of curbing and resting aside for when a moment like tonight, when I think we could have completely just blown out this team. They were not playing their best. Shea was a shell of himself in the second half until like late game, and like Ant played half-assed, like honestly, and Cat wasn't aggressively trying to find himself open in the game. He was not playing to the best of abilities, and those are our 2 stars. Like those are the 2 players that need to be getting the 60 points a game, and that's not happening on a regular basis. We win fundamentally most of the time. We got to 30 wins based on our defense. And so let's see if this will carry us into the next season, especially at least into the All-Star break. As you said, through the rest of this month, we have big tests coming up against OKC again and Dallas. Let's see if we can close this month out strong. I can't wait to join you guys for the next show. And whoa, Cameron, my friend, it is like it's all ebb and flow. When we win, we're a high. When we lose, we got to trade the team and fold the franchise and move to Seattle. Well, that's what I did.
We're not moving to Seattle. The Timberwolves are in Minnesota for life.
Wow, it sounded so enthusiastic.
I'm not even going to. Cam, you should know better. Come on.
Oh, I missed something. Crone, that is so nice of you. Thank you so much for joining us and doing that. It's we just give it back to you guys anyways. We'll be doing our hashtag giveaways when we get to 1,000 and other milestones as well, and key games like Pat Bev night or something. I don't know, the KG jersey retirement night.
The Pelicans are not beating us in the playoffs. They're not beating us in the playoffs. Zion's not going to get the whistle he does in the regular season. And BI ghosts when he's in the playoffs. They're not beating us. If the Wolves move to Seattle, I'm moving to Minnesota. Cameron, go to bed.
Well, let's all go to bed. How about that? Yeah, let's go to bed. It's Saturday night. We got better things to do, like play Call of Duty anyways.
Absolutely.
Hey, I hope you guys have a good night. Thank you so much for joining us. Nightbot says subscribe and join the show. Otherwise, Cat's going to do something stupid, as he does every game.
Gerald, that's not entirely true. We've beaten plenty of teams this season with full starting rosters.
Wait, Crone lives in Seattle? Crone? Join our Discord. Let's chat, because I also live in Seattle. Cameron also lives in Seattle.
Oh boy, here we go. There's
Let's
a new
share
pod.
a selfie together, my friend. Or if you don't want to, that's fine too, because we're just random dudes on your screen right now.
I'm here for the pessimism. All right, intro is the outro.
Intro is the outro. Let's get out of here. Yes.
Have a good
Thank
night.
you all for joining. We'll see you next time.